Let's just get into it, okay? So today, what we're going to talk about is coming out of your, out of your comfort zone, okay? And we're also going to talk a little bit about what is called the dip, knowing that no matter if you're out of your comfort zone and you're starting some venture, that there does come a point at some time if things are not working that you have to, dip out. In other words, you have to, let it go and try something else. And specifically, the 5 things that we're going to address today. Number 1 is embracing uncertainty and imperfection, okay? And number 2 is being different. Number 3 is front story, okay? With a backstory, and I'll explain what that means in just a little bit, okay? And number 4 is envision your fairy tale and a sequel. And number 5 is reward yourself. And before we get off, I'm going to give you my final thought, which is really should have been number 1, to be honest with you. First and foremost, thank you, Nikki, for joining us, and thank you. I think you pronounce it. Please don't get mad at me if I don't say your name right. Oakleen, right? I hope that's right. I appreciate you checking out today's live broadcast. Now, so without further ado, let's just kind of just get into it. Now, if you know me, you know I like to tell stories, okay? And for me, it's all about telling stories, and telling in stories is a way on how I believe that one can actually learn. So the first thing that I want to talk about is embracing uncertainty and imperfection. Okay, now what does that mean? So uncertainty and imperfection, in a word, is simply this. Now, we know that nothing is certain in life, right? Absolutely nothing is certain, okay? Nothing is certain. So, the job that you go on a daily basis, where you are, even if you're living paycheck to paycheck, and trust me, I know we've all been there, unless we were born with a silver spoon in our mouth, we've all been there. So you're not even in your comfortable position right now today. Your job that you've been on for years and years and years is still uncertain if that job is going to be there for you tomorrow, right? And you might be saying, well, I know, but I'm in a perfect situation where at least I know that I have a paycheck coming in. So remember, number 1 is about embracing uncertainty and imperfections, right? Well, that's from a job standpoint. But if you are an entrepreneur at heart, and you have a passion and a dream for something, and you're thinking strongly about starting a business, but you might be saying, well, I'm uncertain if I can do it right now because I have all these different things going on, and and now is not the perfect time to do it. Understand this. 1, there'll never be a perfect time to go after your dreams. All of the stars don't align up for you. Even the people that you think that are an overnight success started during times where things were not great for them, okay? Case in point, American Standard Insurance, which is a huge insurance company, or even some of the insurance companies and just businesses in general that started during the Great Depression, it was not a perfect time. And they were not certain if they were going to even succeed during a time where, people barely had, 2 nickels to rub together, which, by the way, at the time was a lot of money, and basically was standing in soup lines, okay? So I'm saying to you, if you're an entrepreneur, okay, at heart, you're a entrepreneur thinking about starting a business, or if you're a small business owner, just thinking to myself like, man, should I take this chance? Just know that there's no perfect time or no perfect situation, and things are uncertain. So you should go ahead and do it. Embrace that uncomfortable feeling of not knowing, because when you embrace uncertainty and you embrace imperfection, because there's never a perfect time, right? Then guess what? Genius is born. Okay? Genius is born. And here's the last thing I'm gonna say about that. Last night, yeah, and I'm bringing pop culture into this. I was watching Empire, right? And Becky, if you know who Becky is, Becky asked Lucius, because she's having a hard time with her new business, which is Bossy Records, right? She asked, she's like, well, how did you know? And Lucius said to her, he goes, I made mistakes all the time. I was not certain, but guess what? I made those mistakes. I just put faith on the line, and I embraced the dark place. And that dark place is the uncomfortable feeling. But what he said about embracing the dark place, and he, knowing Lucius, it could have had like a double or even triple meaning. But when you're at the bottom, okay, you have nowhere to look but up. Okay, so embrace the uncertainty, embrace the imperfection, and embrace the uncomfortable feeling of not knowing, because that is where your genius is born. Okay, so let's move on to number 2 here. Okay, number 2, be different. Okay, what does be different mean? Well, when you're thinking about following your dreams, following your passion, and putting something out there, you know what I mean? Putting something out there that's different. Whether you're thinking you're going to be ridiculed for it because maybe what you're putting out there is not perfect. In business, what we call that is, we call it beta testing, or we put what is called an MVP, a minimal viable product or service out, and let our customers or consumers tell us what's not right about it. But if you're putting something out there that's different, that addresses a need in the market, it's okay. Embrace it, okay? Embrace the fact that you are different. Remember, at one point, it was a crazy thought that people would literally be on this planet and travel to the moon, right? And it was this young geeky guy with glasses, right? And shag hair, looking like a total Woodstock type kid, who had the crazy idea of putting a personal computer in every home around the country and now around the world. And that guy who was different, who thought different, was Steve Jobs. Okay, so think about it in this manner. Being different means you're special. And if something that you're bringing to the market is different or improves upon an existing product or service and is utilized in a different way, then guess what? You are delivering value, you're being different, and you now have what we call in business a unique value proposition. So step outside of that comfort zone and just be different. So let's move on to number 3. Number 3. Now, front story, not your backstory. Now, if you've seen my video, probably one of my more popular videos, where I talked about all of the celebrities that I knew at my, during my time in radio. I talked about how, I kind of felt like I was going nowhere, because even though I was on a #1 radio station, had a #1 show, which, by the way, in Houston, Texas, it was Magic 102. The name of my show was Club Magic, and we were #1 in our time slot for about 3 years, making the company millions of dollars, but yet I was only getting paid $12 an hour, right? And I think we slipped to #2 maybe one time, but I would, all the celebrities that would come in, people I would meet like Snoop Dogg, Jodeci, and you could tell how far back this was, right? All these different people, right, that I would meet, I'm like, man, they really got it going on, right? They really got it going on, and I'm stuck here, even though I'm popular, right? I'm popular, I'm not making any money, right? And so for me, it was more so about the money and taking care of my family, even though I was popular. But let me tell you what the problem was. This actually led to somewhat of a depression, even though honestly at the time I didn't realize that it was a depression. But reflecting back on the time, I realized like damn, I was actually depressed during that time because I would see all these celebrities come in and I would interview people, and I'm like, damn, they really got it going on. And I'm struggling, which is my backstory, okay? And I'm looking at their success, which is their front story, and I kept comparing my struggle to be different and to bring different value to the world and step out of my comfort zone to do something different. I was comparing it to their front story, which was success and, you know, celebrity and all these different things. And guess what? First thing I realized upon some reflection is that everything that glitters is not gold. One, a lot of the celebrities that I thought were rich were not rich. In fact, they were actually living off of a record company's dime. That's what they call an advance, right? And a lot of that money that they had to pay back. And then a lot of those quote unquote celebrities, until they took agency, that means taking control over yourself. And it's one thing that I learned from Master P. What's up, P? I know you remember me, AJ. Is that you have to do something different and step outside of what you're doing in order to make what your ultimate dream and your plans are a reality. So what I did was, now this is gonna sound crazy, at the height of my show, Club Magic, I literally left, right? I embraced something different. I became a broker, right? And I started doing something different because for me, it wasn't about the celebrity. It was about me being able to, pay my bills. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. It was about me being able to pay my bills. So I really didn't give a quote unquote damn about the celebrity, but it was all about finance for me, right? And so I embraced sales 100%. I was working at Magic on the air, Magic 102 in Houston, Texas, a Radio 1 company. At the time, it was Clear Channel, and I was selling for $97.9 the box as an account executive, which, by the way, was owned by Clear Channel, but then later on, all those companies were purchased by Radio 1. But here is the main point. By me comparing what all of the celebrities had and what I didn't, all I was doing was setting myself up for failure, right? So I'm telling you, do not compare your struggle to a celebrity or someone that you know has it going on, because you don't really know what's going on. And then remember also, the last reflection I'm going to share with you is that a lot of the people that I thought were overnight successes, they were like years in the making. So know that you as an entrepreneur is a journey, one step at a time. Improvements along, over a period of time leads to all these massive results. So again, I'm gonna leave you with this final thought on number 3. Never compare someone's success with your struggle, period. Your backstory with their front story, and I think you get the point. So let's move on to number 4 here, okay? Now, number 4 is envision your fairy tale and a sequel. And you might be saying, "Well, AJ, what is envision your fairy tale and a sequel?" Now, we all know that as entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, people that want to start businesses, and they want to grow something to scale and deliver value to the world, that there's somewhere that you ultimately want to be. Maybe where you want to be is being able to provide for your family. Or maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck right now and you're thinking to yourself, damn, if I could only start this business, I could make a tremendous difference in my family's life. Okay? I can do that, right? And let's just say, you're working on it, but it's not coming as fast as you want it to come. Okay? First of all, you've already made the decision to embrace being uncomfortable and the uncertainty, and you're being different by delivering something that no one else is delivering, but you still need to have something to motivate you, okay? And that motivation is to spend some time alone with yourself, and this helps me tremendously, right? When I'm feeling uncertain, okay, and I'm feeling imperfect, what I do is envision what my final outcome is. I know that I want to jet set across the world. I want to be able to have multiple businesses in related industries that are delivering value and basically living out my entrepreneur dream. And once I've accomplished that, that is my fairy tale ending. However, in entrepreneurship and in business, it should not be an ending. And here's where the sequel comes in. In other words, once you've made it, you have to think about what's next for your dream, for your entrepreneurial journey. And that what next is your sequel. So think about your life as a movie. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end, and then there's a sequel. The beginning is you embracing being uncomfortable, starting what it is that you want to start. The middle of the movie is your struggle, your journey, and the end of the movie is you actually accomplishing your goal and what it is that you want to do. But it's not over, right? Just like every good franchise, okay? There's a sequel. So the sequel is your continuation of what you want to do with your entrepreneur journey, your life, your business, and what you're doing and deciding to bring to the world, and that's your value. So, number 4, envision your fairy tale and sequel. Okay? Now, thank you. Also, I want to give a stop for just a second before I go on to number 5 and say, hey, thank you, Kizzy, for checking us out. And I really appreciate you, Kimberly. Again, it's Kimberly and Kizzy. And I really appreciate you all jumping in and adding your comments to the conversation. Okay, so let's move on to number 5. Okay, number 5 is reward yourself. Okay, why reward yourself? Just imagine this for a second. How often are you looking forward to Friday or the weekend after working a long, hard week on somebody else's job? Okay? Now, juxtapose that with you doing your own thing. You've embraced the uncomfortable feeling of starting your own thing. You have in your mind what you're going to bring to market that's different. And as you probably notice, I'm running through the numbers as I'm talking to you. You said, okay, I'm not going to compare myself with anyone else. This is all me because I'm different. In other words, someone else's front story is not your backstory. Okay. And now you've envisioned what your fairy tale ending is to be. In other words, what you want to accomplish with your new company, your new entrepreneur endeavor. And, once you've accomplished that, what your next steps are. Okay. You've already done that. Okay. Now you have to start thinking about giving yourself the motivation to continuously improve and go on. And you know what that is? That's called rewarding yourself. Okay. In the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki explained how he would, whatever money he made, he would have 3 piggy banks. Right. One was to, basically he put money in this bank and this bank and this bank. Like one bank was for investments. Another bank is for, I guess you could pay bills or whatever, or to keep your business going. And the last bank was basically to buy himself something, okay? To give himself a reward. So I'm saying to you, once you've already made up your mind to embrace all of this craziness that we call entrepreneurship, and you've done all of 1 through 4, now it's time to say, good job, AJ. Good job, Oakland. Good job, Kizzy. Good job, Kimberly. Good job, Daquan. It's time to reward yourself. In other words, all work and no play makes AJ a terrible person, okay? So I'm saying to you, reward yourself. When you reward yourself for all of your struggle, for stepping into that uncomfortable place, then that reward is just the psychological motivation that you need to continue to build and to continue to keep going. So reward yourself, even if it's just getting up and going out to, have a drink at Starbucks, or getting up and going out to a restaurant and having a meal. You know what I mean? You have to take some of that or whatever you're doing and reward yourself. Okay? You have to take some of what you've made and reward yourself. You have to reward yourself financially, all right? And you have to reward yourself psychologically by reminding yourself that, hey, if this journey was so damn easy, everyone would be doing it. So good job, AJ. Good job, Oakland. Good job, Kizzy. Good job, Kimberly. Good job, Daquan. Reward yourself. And of course, good job, Nikki. Okay? So, number 5, reward yourself. Now, I want to, before I get into my final point, okay, I want to share a couple of things that we have coming up on the calendar. Okay? No. Forget that. I'll tell you what. I'll share my final point with you now. Okay? Here is the final point. All right? The final point is never forget who you are. I'm going to repeat that. Never forget who you are. Now, you might say, well, what do you mean? Can you explain? Can you expound a little bit on that, AJ? This is exactly what I mean about never forgetting who you are, okay? You have to realize that there are going to be people all along the way that has an opinion. They have opinions about what you're doing, okay? And typically, the opinion about what you're doing, especially if you're doing something different, if you're embracing uncertainty, you're embracing imperfection, and you're just putting yourself out there in an uncomfortable place, people that are not familiar with the uncomfortable place will tell you that, what are you doing? You're messing up. You're screwing up. You should not be doing that. You should not risk this. You should not risk that. Trust me, every millionaire out there, okay, risk something, but the risk is calculated. So I'm saying to you, when you know who you are inside of you as a person, as the entrepreneur, the wantrepreneur, the small business owner, the business owner that's looking to grow business tremendously, then remember who you are, what your mission is, and forget the naysayers. And remember, and I know a lot of you all are familiar with this, Will Smith said he let friends go because they did not see his vision and they did not believe in what he was doing. And also, I know you've heard the expression, if you take a composite of the 5 closest people around you, that's pretty much who you are. So if you hanging out with some people that are not doing anything, some nowhere, no going where type people, then chances are you're not going to go anywhere either. Okay? So never forget who you are, what your mission is, what you are bringing to the world as an entrepreneur, and just know that if it was so easy, then everyone would be an entrepreneur. So stick by what it is you plan on doing and never, ever forget who you are, despite what the naysayers say. Remember who you are. Because remember, so many people have been laughed at, such as, Steve Jobs, such as the owners of Netflix. And remember, as I always say, the technology that exists today that makes Netflix such a powerhouse didn't even exist when it started. Think about all of the bankruptcies or near bankruptcies. Even the person that's in the quote unquote White House right now, okay, even that person, it has some form of success because we're talking about that person is not that, and this is not a political statement, but I'm just saying, okay, if you're going to be different, be known for that one thing that you're different, because I'm always preaching about the one thing. And that person and all the other people that the naysayers could not be done, say things, whatever they were trying to do and could not be done, they never forgot who they are. And I'm saying to you as an entrepreneur, wantrepreneur, small business owner looking to scale your business, never forget who you are.